So I know it's been a while since we've been making regular videos. I've had a lot going on. So today, um, to continue all the crap that's going on in my life, so my grandmother, after the bladder cancer diagnosis, she broke her hip and has had to have surgery on her hip. So she's in rehab for that. Learning how to use it without, because she can't bend her body at a 90-degree angle because of it, because
Oh
it can pop out up until the body has healed and like grasped onto the new joint that's in there. Um, the silver ball can like pop out, so you can't
no.
bend
Okay.
that close. You
That's
have to stay
fun.
like this. So like getting up, you can't lean forward to get up. She can't bend over to like put on a shoe. Like, so she's in rehab to
How
learn
do
how
they
to
how do they
accommodate for all
keep
that.
her at that? Like, do they have like a pillow or something, or they just like use the honor system?
I guess the honor system. Like, it's not gonna pop out every single time she tries to do that. Like, it's just a let's not risk it because it can
Okay.
happen and it's likely to happen if you keep doing that type thing. So it's just learning how to do things and working those muscles and to help the healing process. So she's in rehab for that. Well, she was supposed to be at rehab until Friday. Um, and we're gonna have to take her out on Wednesday because she's not allowed to leave the facility to go get her PET scan to find out where else the cancer could have spread.
That does make sense.
We're already, so she broke her hip on Monday, I believe, and she was supposed to have the PET scan that Wednesday or Thursday. And so
Hmm.
instead, she wasn't able to. She had to have surgery on Tuesday on her hip, and she wasn't, physically able to go and get a big scan of her body and lay
Right.
still for however long she has to, do all that. So we had to delay it for that. And then they're like, well, we need it done. We rescheduled it on this Thursday. And the facility she's at is like, well, she's not allowed to leave to go get that. Like, what the fuck?
Like it's a medical procedure. How are you going to tell her
It
she
has
can't
something
leave?
to do with if she's currently admitted into a facility for one issue, she's not allowed to leave for another issue.
Please put
Well, like,
all of
what if
your
she has a heart
problems on
attack?
hold. Like,
Like
pick
she
your worst
can't go. Well,
issue.
she can't go for tests and checkups. Like I think if it's like an
Still, like,
emergency, but I'm like, it's just fucking cancer. Like it's
yeah,
not
that's
like she's like, I just want to go get my eye exam. That
yeah,
I could
like that's
understand.
insane.
It's so stupid. So, anyways, the last time I went by at this facility, she was like, "You didn't bring me any beans and cornbread or fried potatoes," and I'm like, "No." Me and my stepmom were like, "No, we didn't know that's what you wanted." Well, of course that's what I want.
I mean, honestly, how could you show up without it? What kind of children
So
are you?
today, I spent most of the day cooking cornbread and beans and fried potatoes and turnip greens. And then Lily made some cupcakes and we took that to her. And it was the perfect day to do it because they were making fish or they had fish for dinner. And it
Yeah.
smelled terrible in there. I mean, it smelled horrible. When I got there, like through my mask, I'm like, what in the hell is that awful stench? Like, oh my God, it stinks in here. Not normal nursing home type smell. Like,
Yeah.
rotten fish smell. And I'm like,
My
ugh.
mother's husband is in a nursing home, and like every time that they have fish, she orders him food. And I'm like, what kind of a place does not have options? Like, what
Right?
if you're allergic to seafood? Like, and also, why fish? Why are you serving people fish?
Nobody likes the
Like, they're
smell of
already
fish. Like,
no. And like,
and I'm sorry, but in a nursing type facility, they're not ever
okay.
going to cook it good. Nobody's going to eat that shit. Like,
Yeah.
just don't even waste your money on that fish. Like, nobody's going to eat that.
I can't imagine that's quality fish either. Like,
No.
they're
No.
not feeding them like good fish. It's like fish sticks that they tore the breading off of.
I mean, it looks like a normal fillet, of a fish, of a white type fish,
Hmm.
like cod or something, but it smelled. Like, I'm sure it was dry and shitty. And so they were sitting the tray down as I walked in,
And you're
you
like,
know,
no.
and she was like, "Do you want this in front of you or over there?" And Granny's like, "I don't know." And I was like, "I'll put it wherever she needs it when she's ready to eat." And as soon as the lady walked out, I was like, "But I have beans and cornbread and fried potatoes and turnip greens and cupcakes." And she's like, "Well, that's what I'm eating."
Obviously, yeah. Like, and then everybody swarmed around you guys.
And she was like, "Oh, this is so good." So now I'm like, I should probably make her something every time I go,
Yeah.
you know, since we don't know how long she'll be here. So I'm like, I should make her shepherd's pie and dressing and all the things she loves. So I may be doing a lot of
Aw,
cooking. And I don't like
that's
to cook.
good.
I like to cook occasionally, but I don't like to cook every day. Like I'm a
There's just like
twice
so
a
many
week.
dishes.
Yeah. But it
So
has to be
many
soft
dishes.
stuff because she only has like her top teeth, her bottom teeth. Or she only has the
Mhm.
bottom teeth. I don't remember. She's only got one set. Because she never went and got like fitted for the other ones, and so she just has
Yeah.
to eat small things that are easy to mash, and chew easily. So
What's fun?
yeah. So, but like shepherd's pie and dressing and things like that I know she likes, she would be able to eat. So,
Yeah.
but I thought I've got to make her the fried potato. Like, so when I was like, I was going to EMT school at the time. So my class got done at like 10 o'clock at night. And I had to
Mhm.
drive like 45 minutes or 30 minutes from where the facility was. But my granny was on my way home. Her house was. So I'd stop at Granny's because Granny's always been a night owl. I'd stop at Granny's and it would be like 10:30 or 11 at night. By the time I got out of class and talked to people, and then, was heading home. Um, and so I'd stop there, and at like 11 at night, every night that I had class, she'd make me fried potatoes. And so we'd have
Oh,
fried potatoes at 11 o'clock at night, and I'd stay there and we'd talk till midnight or 1, and then I'd go home. It's like, I have to make her fried potatoes. Mine weren't nearly as good as hers, but
yeah, you gotta.
she made them perfect every single time. But so I was a good granddaughter today and did that for my grandmother. Um, but so
Nice
what
of
are we
you.
actually talking about this week, though? I don't even know.
I think we're just gonna catch up and then just kind of go from there. There's a couple news stories that like I've seen recently. Um, I had so like talking about food. So my mom makes dumplings and pork cutlets, and they are my absolute favorite. And she makes them for me for my birthday. She keeps inviting people. Like every year, I tell her, I'm like, I want them all. I want every single dumpling. I want every single pork cutlet. I don't want to share. And like, I don't think I saw her last year for my birthday, but like the year before, I told her this. I'm like, I don't want a bunch of people here. I don't want to share. I go there. She has invited other people from her like assisted living facility. And I'm like,
Oh,
I want all of the leftovers. Stop it. So then this year, I just took her out for her birthday because her birthday is the day before mine. She wanted to go to Olive Garden. And then she was like, well, when do you want to do your, food? And I'll see if your brother and your sisters can come. I'm like, again, please stop inviting people. Like, I want,
quit wasting my
like,
dinner
I'm
on
going to
these other
bring,
people.
as I said, I'm like, listen, unless you're making double,
Yeah,
pass. Like,
right.
I'm going to bring bags and I'm taking them all home. Like, stop it. So yeah, that was she's she keeps trying to do that. And that's what I think of. And then like talking about like grannies and their food. I just recently found out that there's a cookbook that my extended family made for like all of our family recipes. And I remember like we used to have apple like fruit dumplings where like they would literally just like they would core the apple and then just put puff pastry around the apple, stuff it in the oven with like some cinnamon on top, and then it's just like delicious. And it's just like it was like an apple dumpling or something, but that's all it was.
Yeah.
It was just like a pastry around like a cored apple. And I'm just like, yes. Like I remember that because I was talking about my great grandma like recently too. And like she would do that. She had crazy rules. She would like legit lock her kitchen like at like 7 p.m. God help you if you needed a drink or some food after 7 p.m. And then my other grandma, like she loved Jello. Like every time we go over there, she's like had like tons of Jello molds, and she would like always make us Jello. But yeah, there's been too much going on here. I was doing really well eating healthy. Um, my cat's going to shove granola all over my floor because I didn't close up my lunchbox. Now he's playing with it like a toy. Um, so I was doing really well. I found smoothies are the perfect thing to take for work. So like if I don't get regular breaks to eat and they're like not very long, I can drink just like a fruit smoothie. So it's literally just like a ton of vegetables, some water, and then a little bit of fruit. And so I've been drinking those. I was losing a ton of weight. It was really good. And then last week was my birthday, and I literally just like cake all the time, and I ate pizza, and I ate Olive Garden, and I ate just like so many things. But I was telling you earlier, I have a bunch of frozen bundt cakes in my freezer.
Yeah.
And it is because like
I asked her if it was for cake sitting. And she's like, I'll tell you whenever we record. I was like, I really hope it's for cake sitting. Like,
it's
I hope
not,
that you're
and
sitting on cakes.
I wish it was, but like really with them shutting down OnlyFans, like there's no point. So there
Meet
is
me, it
cake,
is.
huh?
So meet me, it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a place by me called Nothing Bundt Cakes, and they just sell like these little like bundt cakes. And they have two different options. They have like they call them buntinis, and they're like, you know, tiny bite-sized, nice ones. And then they have like, you know, decent sized cake. So you can get the buntinis for like 20 bucks, or you can get 12 bundt cakes for 50 bucks. And there was one year that like my old roommate and I like decided to like thought we could do it. We got the 12 bundt cakes. We're like, we're gonna try every flavor and we're gonna eat these all at once. So it's just us drinking, eating like a shit ton of bundt cakes. And we realized like we can't eat like we used to, and we cannot eat 12 bundt cakes. So I told him about like the smaller version this year because he's like, oh, we're going to do it again. We're going to get you a new wine. We're going to do all the stuff. That man bought me all of the bundt cakes again. And like we ate even less of them this time. And then he's like, oh, you have to take them. I can't keep them in here. I'm like, there is like 7 full bundt cakes left. Like,
Yeah.
are you joking? No, I can't take these. He goes, well, they can't stay here. But we got to do a wine tasting because my favorite wine is discontinued and I'm not a big wine drinker. So, so we did that and we got to try them and rank them, and they were all like really good. They were Stella Rosa wines. And then there was one dessert wine that like, it was just terrible. Like I literally sat there. I was like, you know what? I'd much rather drink Everclear than this. Like it was a really like thick wine because it was a dessert wine. I was like, I can't do this. I hate this. And it was also like 3 times the alcohol percentage of the other ones. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
I love
super
bundt
like
cakes.
fun stuff. I'm ready. They're so good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they freeze because I would eat a bundt cake every day, but like I don't want to eat a bundt cake every day. Like I'm tired of going to sleep, sitting straight up because my body is like, you bitch, like you can't eat any of the things in your stomach right now. What are you doing? Like, please, for the love of God, eat a vegetable. So getting back on the healthy eating train because in 2 weeks I go back to my regular work day, and I'm going to try and like be a functional adult who like eats healthy. So they had I've been seeing a lot of like tread for 4-day work weeks, and like people taking pay cuts to work from home. And there's like this huge debate about it. And I was like, of course I would take a pay cut if I could work from home. Like, do you know how much my commute costs? Like
Right.
10% is nothing.
Yeah.
Like I pay
Sure.
$300 a month to get to my job. And like, well, I mean, my job can't be done from home, but if it could, I would love to. But with the 4-day work week, like I love that it's gaining traction and I really love it as a concept, but I don't understand how it would be implemented. Like obviously for office work, it's super simple. Like, you know, obviously everybody just like doesn't come in on Friday, or maybe some people take off on Wednesday. But like, how does that work for the service industry?
Yeah.
Like, and also the people that aren't salary, like I'm hourly. Do I lose 8 hours of pay to get an extra day off because now I actually can't afford everything? Or do you like adjust it and it still gets me my regular 40-hour pay? I just like
So are
only
you
work
regularly going to
4
work from
days.
home now?
No, I don't work from home. Like my the job that I'm currently doing can be done from home, but they prefer it be done in the office, which I get. Like the office is way better set up to facilitate all of the functions of the job than my apartment is.
Yeah.
But the job that I do, the reception job, I have to be physically in the office.
Yeah.
But because everybody September, September 7th is like the day that a ton of companies are going back. So you're just seeing all of these like news articles about like the 4-day work weeks and the working from home and the reduced pay. And it's just like, it's so interesting because I really would love it. Like, all of the people that are like, of course I would take a pay cut to do it. I miss everything with my children growing up because I'm commuting, but I need the job because of the money. And like,
Yeah.
people say that to me too. They're like, well, why do you go to the city? Can't you find it? I'm like, I make enough money that like it's worth the commute. Like if I could get a job closer, but like it's actually worth it to go to my job. And a lot of people face that. Like, we live in the suburbs, but the big cities are where they pay higher.
Yeah. I've got to find a new job.
Yeah.
But my kids' stupid drop off pickup schedule for school is like anything that is my qualifications,
Yeah.
like from my past, my degrees and all that are going to cut into that. Like the only time I'm available is 4 hours during the day and then after I pick them both up. So it's like that's not
See, and
that
that's
doesn't
why
work.
I like the work from home. Like if
Yeah.
you're able
Yeah,
to
that's what
work
I
from
need is
home,
to work from home.
yeah. And like even doing a 6-hour workday, like they've done studies, they've proven that you're not any more effective being there for 8 hours than you are for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Um, and just the schedule for working mothers, like and fathers, like anybody that works and is like a caregiver to their children, like the 9 to 5 doesn't work, especially because your kids get out of school at 3 p.m.
Oh,
Like,
mine get out at 1:30 and
well,
2:45.
yeah. See, like, what are
So
you
I
supposed to
have
do
to
with that?
leave by like 1:15 and I don't get home till 3. It's almost 2
Yeah,
whole hours I'm spent picking up kids.
yeah.
Like this is not feasible for me.
It's not. And like, what are you supposed to do? Just like not work?
Right.
Like,
Like
and it sucks too, because a lot of women aren't getting the opportunity. Like, you're super qualified for so many jobs, and
yeah.
a lot of jobs would be so lucky to have you, even if it's 4 hours a day, because the work that you do in four
Oh, I'll
hours,
do more in an hour than most people will do in an entire day, but
exactly.
once I get
So it's just,
focused for that hour.
yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like, tell me what you need me to do for the job and let me tailor my schedule to it. Like,
Mm.
if I need to be there for a meeting, guess what? I will make sure that I have like everything set up. But there's no reason in this day and age that like you have to physically be there for every single thing 9 to 5. Like, that's just not the world that we live
Yeah.
in anymore.
No.
I was just reading that in the book, and I can't remember what it's called. But it's the one that talks about how women aren't thought of, and they were talking about this exact thing, the fact that like women who are caregivers, like they can't get these jobs. And then when you go in and you're like, these are the skills that I have, but I haven't technically had a job. They're like, well, motherhood doesn't have. It's like, really? Because I did all of the things that you asked for. Like,
Motherhood is so much harder than any type of business skills that I have. Like
I agree. Like,
staying on track to do laundry and clean the house and take care of the kids is far more stressful to me than any 80. I've worked 80 hours a week managing a company. Way more stressful than that, like all
yeah,
day, every day.
yeah, it's crazy. And like, it's so funny that like companies don't value that and like see the value in that. And it's like, listen, she just did a meeting with like a toddler that like is running rampant around her, and she didn't lose her composure once. Like, promote
Oh, I
her.
lose my composure.
Well, I saw a lot of articles too talking about women who hid their pregnancies during the pandemic because they were afraid that they wouldn't get promotions, raises, projects. And it's like, she's pregnant. She's not disabled.
Yeah.
Like, there was one woman, I just read an article. It was the funniest article because she's like, I lied about my pregnancy and I felt really bad because I'm actually really good friends with my boss, but like we haven't seen each other in person. And she's like, and honestly, I don't know how to tell her. And she's like, I full on had the baby. She took, because she works remote and she was a contractor. That was the sucky part too. She was a contractor. So she said, she's like, they can fire me for any reason. And while they can't fire her for being pregnant, they can very easily find
Yeah.
another reason to let her go. So she's like, so I hid my pregnancy and then it just like got too far. And she's like, when I went into labor, I said I had a death in the family. I took off 3 days. I had my baby. And then I was back doing meetings and running my team's project. And she's like, and I kept it up until, she's like, it's weird, just like not telling people that you have a 6-month-old son. Because she's like, I just kept it up. I didn't know how to break the news at that
Isn't that
point.
crazy? Like you'd rather say you've had a death in the family than a birth in the family.
Yeah.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah. Cause it's just like, and she literally was like, I'm telling this woman about my other child and all of their accomplishments while never mentioning the tiny human that I just birthed like a few months ago. And she's like, thankfully, I ended up leaving that job. So I never had to come clean about
That's so sad.
and it is, because you're just like, it's so weird to live in a world where saying like I had a baby and like they're like, oh no, just put her off in a corner somewhere. Like, but if she said, she's like, I'm so sure too that if she like came forward and she's like, I have a 6-month-old, I've been doing all of this work all through my pregnancy and all of this, and I have a 6-month-old.
I would be impressed. I would be like, hell yeah, like what the hell?
But there's also a solid possibility that if she ever had come clean about it, they would have still pushed her off to the side, regardless of all of the other work that she's done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just like it's weird. It's weird, and like, I still don't trust that like we're coming back. But like everybody keeps saying that we are, but I'm like, listen, I'm going to ask until the day of, because like I'm going to start taking the train again, and like, I get it that like the Delta variant's not like as serious as like everything else, because like a lot of people, especially in Chicago, are vaccinated. It's still pretty serious, and like I don't get why we wouldn't shut down. Like at least like go back to continue working from home, but they just like really want to be back in the office, so it's fine.
I just want a job where I'm using spreadsheets all day. I love spreadsheets. Like I've done so many things, I've done HR, I've managed over 600 people. Like I can do so many things, but my favorite thing is just working in spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets.
I know. I want a data entry job.
I would love just a basic data entry job where I'm just logging stuff into spreadsheets or creating spreadsheets for like a company that will pull the information and stuff from all the different places that you need it, do all that. I would love to just be doing that.
Yeah, I remember when we worked together, one of the jobs that I did was literally like listening to people's voicemails to the company and just like recording it. Yeah. And like that was fun. It was a little weird. And like same thing with emails. Like I remember like listening, like reading the emails, being like, this person's mad about this.
Yeah.
At 12:23 p.m. on this date. And like I like that. And I like spreadsheets are just so fun.
They are. They're so much fun. So if anyone's watching this and they need someone to just do spreadsheet stuff for them, please contact me. I will do it. And I will negotiate the price because I just love doing it. Like I will accept Amazon gift cards. Like
no, she will not. She wants real money. And she's very qualified and she has very high value. But yeah, like every time that I learn a new thing in Excel, I'm just like, what a world. Like,
yeah, it's so much fun.
I love that I don't have to add things myself. I love that it can pull things from other documents just by putting in a formula. Like,
yeah, I love it.
It's so easy.
I love it so much. It's like everything else in my life is chaos, but a spreadsheet is so neat and tidy, and it works so tidy. Yeah. Seamlessly.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's nice.
I love spreadsheets.
They're good.
So that's
Yeah,
what
I
I
like
want. I want a job using spreadsheets. That's all that I
data
want to do.
entry.
That's all that I want to do. I need a data entry job.
You
Where do
just
I
search
find a data
data
entry?
entry.
Oh, you can find so many of those, but none of them ever result to anything.
That's true. And
They
like
have to be fake.
everything is a temp job now too. And it's like, no, just like hire me as a real person. Like that's why I kind of don't like, because I'm a contractor and there's like no job security. Like they could
Yeah.
literally be like, yeah, we don't want you on this site anymore. And then you're just gone. And like HR is there, but like HR is not there for me. Like I can't go
Right.
to HR and be like, I have a problem, which I don't. I love my job. Um, but like it's just so interesting as like a former HR person.
It keeps taking my poof off, and then I look like I'm just like no
Oh,
hair, like I'm a boy with a crew cut. Sorry.
slouch down. We've lost all of our like composure and posture since being away. But yeah, like it's weird, like knowing like HR is, they really only care about like employees, and actually they don't care about employees. HR in your company is there for your company, not for
Right.
you.
We've
Like,
both done HR. We can
yeah,
attest to this.
like I just remember in Toys R Us, which is back by the way, for like the 18th time, they're gonna try them out on Macy's now. I know, just let it die. But I remember like during Christmas, they're literally like, if they can push a broom, they can work in our store. Great. Glad that
Like my toddler can.
yeah.
Oh, actually, he's not a toddler now. I keep calling him that. He's 5. He's a kid now.
Hang on, I
Kid.
turned off all the things in my apartment.
This yacht is so cool. I'm just not getting to actually watch this.
Right?
That is so cool.
Yeah. I bought I bought my cats a yacht. I saw it in Target for it was like $25, but the reviews were like, listen, if you have a big cat, like they're just gonna destroy it. It's just cardboard. Don't get it for them. And I was like, all right, like 25 is not like that much, but also if they're just gonna destroy it, because I have 2 large cats, if they're gonna destroy it in like 5 minutes, I'm not going to get it. But I went in there and it was half off, and I was like, you know what, for $12,
Right.
they destroy it like the
It's worth
second
it.
that they sit on it, it's fine. They love it. They keep going in and they're like playing with it, but Fig keeps making it like Titanic out. He keeps sitting in the, I don't know what the front of the boat is called, at the bow. I
I
don't know.
think so. I don't know.
We keep
Sounds
sitting
right.
it so the end keeps popping up. And I'm like, that's not how it works. But it's cute because they keep like jumping into it and like hitting each other, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
I got them that, and then it was a very expensive weekend for me because I went to that, and then I went to my favorite event of the year, the all night flea market, which came back, and I was super disappointed because it really sucked. The Barbie lady wasn't there, which is like good and bad because I don't need any more Barbies, but also like, where's the Barbies? They didn't have like the roasted nut guy there, and they had like reduced vendors, and like just like it was pretty like just blah. But there was a guy there selling taxidermy bugs, and I was like, this is so
These are
weird.
so cool that she got. Like, they're so cool.
I love them. So like I bought this giant beetle, and I was like, this is so cool. I'm so excited about it. He had like this little bird skeleton there that like we left, and I was like, okay, no, get my hands in because I might want to come back. I just like could not get this like tiny bird skeleton out of my head. I'm like, it's haunting me, but like my social anxiety kicked in, and I was like, I didn't want to talk to him. Like, and my friend was making, like, she made the comment, she goes, your social anxiety is so weird. She's like, when we went to see that comedian a few weeks ago, she's like, your social anxiety kicks in at odd times, and you just like go from like just bubbly and personable and like being able to do it to just completely insane. And I was like, well, to be fair, I was like, when we saw that comedian, I was also in the middle of a panic attack. So like, because
I
I don't
wanted to go
like,
see that.
I know, and it was so good. And I hope that he comes back. And he definitely did not respond to my message, which is a bummer, but like also understandable. Um, but so we
Oh
went.
yeah, that you messaged him. I thought you
Yeah,
said
I
I didn't
messaged him.
respond to your message, and I'm like,
No, 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 no. So like
what message?
it
Like
was it
sometimes I
was a
do read them, and
nightmare.
I'm not where I
Yeah.
can respond, but I was just thinking, what did I not respond to?
It was a nightmare like getting somebody to go because everybody kept being like, oh yeah, I can totally go. And then like something would come up. And like I was like, I don't even want to go. Like, I don't want to go to a comedy show by myself. They will make fun of me. Um, so like I was kind of like debating it, and then the last minute my friend's like, okay, I will go with you. And I was like, thank you. Like it's a free ticket. Like I'm literally like anybody who wants to go, the only thing is you must drive. So we're driving, and I hadn't been to the venue before, and it was in Chicago. It was 2.5 miles. And I was like, I don't want to pay for an Uber. Like, we're just going to drive my car. We'll find parking, because I stupidly thought that there would be like a parking garage or
See,
something.
I would take an Uber. Like I'm the type that's like, I don't want to deal with that shit. I'm just gonna take an Uber.
Yeah. Well, like she's an experienced city driver. So like, I like, she's like, I can do this. And I was like, okay. My GPS was like not syncing up. So we actually had 3 different devices trying to GPS us there because they kept like not working. So I was already like, I'm freaking out a little bit because of that. And then there's no parking. Like it's all street parking. There's no parking. The spots that you can find, I'm like, I don't know if we're allowed to park here. It's I don't know. So we finally find a spot. I'm still not 100% clear because like there are places that you have to pay for parking, but like there was technically my spot wasn't. So then we start going. I was like, shit, my mask, and we're already late at this point. So then I'm like running back because I know I saw somewhere that it didn't start until 7:30, but the ticket said 7. So then I'm like, shit, we're late. Like we're gonna be late. I don't want like, and so my anxiety is just off the chart with like being late, having to run to this venue from like the shit place that we parked. I've never been to the venue before. So we get out there, and I'm just like having like a full blown like chest pains, and like I'm like sweating, and I'm just like
Aw.
I'm legitimately just like
You should have
the
taken an
waiter.
Uber.
I know, and I will the next time, but like I really didn't think it would be that big
And
of a
it's
deal.
somebody else's problem.
I
Try
know.
and figure it out.
But you know what I thought about? I was like, I don't want to pay for that. It's 2.5 miles. It's in rush hour in Chicago. Like it's gonna be like $25 each way.
It's worth it
Like,
to me.
well, yeah, now it is. But like I really thought that there would be like a parking garage or something. There is not. So I sit down. I'm like, please give me alcohol, like drinking it. So then I'm sitting down, I'm like trying to calm myself down. I've been very mean to my friend. Like I am just, and she even said too, because I'm like freaking out about where we parked, because I'm like, we didn't pay for parking. She's like, you don't need to. I'm like, are you 100% sure? Because I'm not. And she's like, well, no. And I was like, I can't get my car towed in Chicago
Right?
on a Friday night. Like you can't. She's like, well, I'm sure it'll be. I'm like, I'm having a panic attack. I've told you like 6 times. I'm like hyperventilating. I'm like, I need you to be sure. I was so mean. And I told her, I was like, if my car gets towed, I'm never speaking to you again. I'm not even joking. Cause like I was having that, like my heart was like, I physically hurt, but I'm going because I really want to see this fucking comedian. So I chug my drink and I ask for water, and like it's a shared table. It's like a long table. And I asked for water and my alcohol. And so the waiter comes and he has a pitcher and he has 3 cups with straws and he has my alcohol. So he puts it down next to me. I'm sitting at like one whole half of the table at like the very end. And then there's like a group of 4 girls at like the front.
Mhm.
So I figured he brought like a cup for me. And then I said my friend was going to be there in a second, cup for her too, and an extra for who knows why. So I pick up the pitcher, I pour myself water, and then these bitches in front of me, like, kind of like are glaring at me. And like, when I put the pitcher down, they like took it over and they like put it in the middle of them. And I was like, it was clearly a shared pitcher for the table. Like, I'm sorry that like you assume that it was for you, but I'm gonna be honest, you guys are sitting in a group of 4 and there's a full seat in between us. And I'm sitting towards the very end of the table. Like, if
It
it
was
was meant
obviously for
you,
me.
I was like, yeah, if it was meant for you, he would have put it in the middle of you four. Like,
Yeah.
let's be so clear here. So like, great. So now I don't get any more water because they've like taken it and put it in. Like they kept like kind of like glaring back. I was like, oh my God. So then I'm like freaking out about this, but I was
And
like, I
I'm
don't
even
care.
the type that would be like, oh, we can share, not a big deal.
Yeah,
Like
like
I would
it was
never
totally
glare
what
at
I
someone over
assumed.
wanting some water. What the
I
fuck?
literally, he put it down and he only put down one picture. And I was like, oh, it must be for the table and not for these like greedy bitches who are like in front of me. And it's like, it's a shared table at a comedy show. You're really gonna like be stingy about it?
Right.
So like, and so I was still like in the middle of my panic attack at that point. So I was like, don't freak out. This is fine. They don't matter. You're never going to see them again. Like trying to like not internalize this on top of like everything else I'm feeling. So then the comedian was like super funny. It was really great. He was like, I'm going to be outside after the show. Like, come say hi. And I wanted to, but I was just still like, I wanted to be home. I needed to be home. I could not be out in the world. And I really do regret not like saying hi and like getting my picture with him and stuff. But like, I felt gross because like I had gotten up late, so I couldn't shower, and like I didn't love the outfit I was wearing, and like my
Don't
makeup
you
was
hate when you just
stupid.
feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable just with
So that was
yourself? I
so that
hate
was
that
it. So I
feeling.
was like, you know, somebody else is going to take this picture of me. It's going to look terrible because I
I'm
feel
gonna hate
terrible.
it.
And people taking pictures of you, they always take it from right in front of you. And you're
Right?
like,
And
get that camera up. Like get on a chair.
make it so that when I look at this, I see what I want to see,
Yeah.
not what
So
y'all actually see of me. I don't want to see that.
my angle. So I was like, I don't want a picture with him. Like I really did, but like there was too many people. So I was like, I don't know the protocol. And then like I was just like, no, we have to go. Cause I thought about it and I was like, this picture's just gonna sit in my phone. I'm not gonna post it to social media because I don't post like that stuff to social media. So it's just gonna like sit deep in my phone and like I'm never going to look at it again. So like,
Yeah.
does it really matter? And I really wish that I had taken the time to like thank him for coming and like say how funny he was and stuff. But hopefully he'll come back and I'll be able to or like perform somewhere near here and I'll go. But yeah, like it just like it was really horrible. And it actually like I was basically just catatonic the whole weekend because the panic attack was like hours long that like when I got home, I was just so exhausted that I just like couldn't do anything the whole rest of the weekend. And it really like threw me off and just put me in like this really off mood. It was really horrible. And like I'm glad that it is over and like I never want to feel that again. But yeah, she was telling me that like she's like your social anxiety like turns on and off because I was like, I want to ask him what that bird is at the flea market, but like I can't because I can't talk to a human being.
Yeah.
So, but I went back and I asked what the bird is. It's just some common bird from like somewhere, I don't remember where, but like I ended up buying like
Looks really cool.
it does. I ended up buying 3 more pieces. So I have the bird skeleton, I have the giant beetle, I have a wasp, I think, and then a bee. And I was like, I really want more, but I've already spent over $200. So like maybe I'll cool it and like buy more things later from his nope, can't do it. Etsy shop. So, but yeah, I found the like as I get older, apparently my aesthetic is going to be creepy things. My wheelchair for my cats,
Yeah.
dead taxidermied bugs. Like this is my aesthetic now. Like, welcome to my home. Oh, and I got a super cool sign that said
It's great.
it said like it's like straight women must pay for room in advance when bringing sailors or something. I was like,
It's
I'll put
great.
that on my bedroom door. And I did.
I think it's like street women bringing in sailors
Yes.
must pay for room in advance or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So I put that on my door. So it's a very successful flea market, but like it just wasn't as fun as it normally is, which was a bummer.
Yeah. So I did something fun this week.
Yeah.
So first, I went out with a couple friends of mine for a dinner that I got trapped into. But so I went to this dinner with friends. Well, one of them was like, oh, I went and saw the psychic here in town. And I'm like, the what? the psychic here in town. What the hell are you talking about?
Please
Over
tell
on
me
Rector
you went
Road. I was like,
there.
that's right down the road from my house. Like, I
Like, how
live
do I
off
not
of
know
that
about a
street.
whole psychic?
I was like, there's a psychic in town and they're right down the road from my house and I did not know this? Like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, you can like book it on Facebook. I was like, I don't have the Facebook app, damn it. Because, I deleted it. So I had to go on my browser, find it through the browser. It's not nearly as easy on the browser, which keeps me from staying on Facebook all the time because it's just like, it's just not even worth the trouble. So I find it and I book it for the very next day. I was like, I'm totally going to see a psychic. I was like, I'm using my birthday money to go see a psychic.
When I come back down there, if the psychic is working, I want to go too.
So I went and saw the psychic. And she was like, you're a medium. And I was like, I've been told that. Yeah. And I have weird things that have happened to me that I can't explain, but I don't know what I believe in. So then, she gives me like a full tarot spread, like all the stuff, because I paid for like the full psychic reading. I was like, I don't just want like a basic tarot reading or a basic whatever else readings that they do. I was like, I want the full thing. I want to know what's going on in my life. So I did that. And after she's done, she's like, do you have any questions? I was like, I'm going to be honest. I'm a skeptic. Like, I believe in it, but I don't know that I believe in it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty skeptical. And I really didn't expect you to pinpoint on multiple things about me that I know nobody knows about. So I did not prepare any questions because I didn't think you'd be legit.
Yeah. You're like, I really wasn't expecting to hear this much about my life.
Yeah, I didn't realize you'd be as good as you are. So I just expected a bunch of generalizations that could apply to anyone. And that's what I thought I would get. But she was pretty pinpoint. I mean, she hit the nail on the head about quite a few things that I didn't expect her to know about. So I'm like, what? And she said I would be getting a new job that I would love. And I was like, oh my God, what is it? Tell me what it is now so I can get started.
Like, where can I apply? Like, do you see any letters?
Lead me in the right direction.
What's their logo look like?
Right. I keep playing with this piece of soap that Sagan plays with. It like looks terrible because he like digs at it, but it's soap. And I'm like, anything that's clean he's playing with, I'm not going to discourage. So but he left it in here and it's like dry and I'm just
you gotta. I
love original Dial soap and how it smells. So
I keep messing with. I have like one of those like plastic hair ties. So I just all day long I just fidget with it.
Yeah.
So what's exciting?
Let me finish though. Not trying to be rude.
No, you're fine.
So I bought a tarot card set because I haven't had one in forever.
Did you?
I normally don't buy my own tarot cards because so my very first tarot card set that I ever had, my aunt that was a psychic gave to me because she was like, you're not supposed to buy your own tarot cards. The first set you have is supposed to be given to you. So here's a set that's given to you. And I cherished them so much. And Lillian's father, before we divorced, did something with them. And now I don't have those. And she's passed away. And I hate that. But anyways, that was my first set. And again, I don't even know what I believe.
Yeah.
But I've had some weird things that have happened. Like one time, one of my friends was like, called me and he was like, I've lost the keys to my car. I know that you have not been to my house. And there's no way for you to know, but I feel like I should be having you find them for me. And it took me like 1 minute and I told him where they were. Yeah. And they it was something crazy too. It was like they had fallen behind his bed. Like somewhere you would never think to look. And I was like, I'm trying. And we were just kind of joking. We were just kind of joking. And I was like, when I try to be your keys, I feel like I'm looking underneath your bed. And so he goes and looks and he's like, oh my God, there are my keys. What the hell? Like, how did they even get there? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, how the hell did you know where they were? Like, I don't know. I just following my intuitions. So that was interesting. And she even gives classes too. But then I'll walk in and I even like skimmed my Facebook page to see if there was anything that she would, if she would check out my Facebook page and then know things. And I was like,
under a different name.
I was like, okay, all the personal things I'm going through are friends only.
Yeah.
I didn't put those public, so she wouldn't know that. And so I walk in and my stepdad's cousin, one of my cousins, was like, Lindsay, I saw you on the schedule and I was so happy. And I'm like, what in the hell? She works there. And I'm like, but this is like a distant cousin that doesn't know a lot of stuff about me, and
Yeah.
does not know the things that this woman knew about me. So I was like, I know it's not that she got it from her because
I was
it's an
gonna
older
say, like,
lady. Like,
I
it's
was
not anything she
gonna
would know. So
I was gonna
it's like
cancel
private
my
things that
trip.
like nobody knows
Yeah.
she knew about, like things that I've never even posted about, or and I'm just like, how did you know this?
Now I might keep my trip on the books for coming because the band that I was gonna come see by you canceled all their shows, which I'm super bummed about. But like,
Skinny Powers.
yeah,
Yeah, I was supposed to go see them Friday night and I didn't get to because they had to cancel because of COVID stuff. And I'm like,
yeah. And I was gonna come see you in September to like see them because they're playing by you. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna come for like literally like 12 hours just for the weekend. But then they canceled. I was like, I don't know if I want to drive 9 hours each way. But like for a psychic reading, maybe.
yeah. So she's got like a whole shop in there too. She's got like a whole wall that's like jars full of herbs and she has them handwritten on stickers and it looks so cool. I was like, I want a big wall of herbs. Like, that is
Start
so
practicing,
cool.
take them classes,
I
and
should.
then
I should. But
that's
it was
super
really
exciting.
good. She was pretty legit. Like I was highly impressed.
I've never
Um,
had a reading or anything.
you haven't. So the only
So
person that's ever given me like a full reading, like I've had a few tarot readings, because so I studied Wicca for a while,
as
because I
we all
wanted to
did,
know what
yeah.
it's about. I wanted to know what it was about, and I like to explore my options.
Yeah.
So I studied Wicca, and so I mean, I had some tarot readings. I'm sure doing that. I did Reiki training, um, and well, although that wasn't tarot readings, I mean, it
Yeah.
was very this intuitive soul type stuff. So, um, did those things, and then I had a professor. She actually wasn't one of my professors, but she was a professor at the college, the university that I went to. Um, she was pagan, and I've stayed friends with her through the years, and um, she was over one of the clubs that I was in, so that's how I knew her.
Hmm.
Um, and she's done a reading on me, and and then my aunt was the only psychic, and she was like a legit psychic. She had people like all over the world would come to see her. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
she was like really good. And so she gave me a psychic reading. But it was I was so impressed with how good it
Yeah.
was. So the next time you're down here, we're totally getting psychic readings.
Yeah, I'll totally go. Like I've always wanted to get one. I remember when I was little, like my mom wanted one for her birthday and like a very clear memory. And it was just this woman who just had one of those like psychic readings light up neon signs on like the front of her house. But like it was just us kids and we're just like sitting in her living room while my mom's like in the kitchen getting like a psychic reading. Just a really like weird thing, but I've never gotten one for myself because I'm like, I don't know if I believe in them and I don't know if
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I still don't know what I believe in. Like I have
yeah.
no idea, but it's
But like,
fun.
yeah, sometimes that stuff's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
like
fun.
that.
If nothing else, it's fun. So
Yeah. I have good news. My credit score is up and it's
that's
good now.
great.
It went up and I'm actually shocked because like as you know, I was waiting for like October because I had a dispute over my Discover card, which I'm still mad about. Um, but it wasn't supposed to fall off until possibly October, more than likely January. It's gone. Like I
Great.
got, yeah, and like I got an alert from like Experian and they were like, your credit score increased 1 point. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let me log in real quick to see it go to 621. It actually jumped up and I was like, that's not right. Like, where did this like come from? That it's gone early. Like it wasn't supposed to be gone until October. That card is not on there anymore. And like I'm so happy because like they were reporting as active debt, but like wouldn't let me pay it and wouldn't take it off. So I'm like, it's not active if I can't pay it.
See, that is something that they could do. If they don't want to give any more stimulus checks or anything, they could just wipe everybody's negative credit things off.
Yeah. Just let us all
Like,
start fresh,
let us
honestly.
start fresh.
Well, so I was super excited because that means that I can get a house, except for all of the houses are super inflated right now. Like all of the houses by me are about 20 to 30 grand more than they should be.
Yeah.
And even worse, something that I've seen just over the past week, a lot of the new houses are being listed as occupied and you can't visit, which what that means is that they have tenants in them that refuse to pay but can't be evicted. And so you buy the house and you take on those tenants and then it's your responsibility. And I'm like, I can't do that because
No.
I feel super bad about like being excited that the eviction moratorium was ending, but like also I need a goddamn house.
Right.
So like I was kind of like, okay, the eviction moratorium, like, there'll be like some houses on the market. Um, they're extending it to October 3rd, but they haven't officially extended it yet. So
Mhm.
all of these landlords are trying to like quickly sell their houses because they're not making money. And like there are like the bad landlords, like I'll admit the ones that are like, they they use it as their income. They don't work and all they do is like own all these properties, which there's nothing wrong with it as long as you're not a shitty landlord.
Right. If you're managing those properties, you're on top of things when they have problems,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But
But um there's also a lot of articles I've been seeing about shitty tenants, which I absolutely believe. And like I'm kind of on the fence about it because like on the one hand, if you're not paying your rent, I mean, you do have people that like are technically still working because a couple of the landlords are like, I know they're still working. Like they are working, they're getting checks, they have income, but they are not paying anything to
just
me
because they
because
don't have
they don't
to.
have to. And so
Yeah.
like on the one hand, like the poor part of me is like fucking good for them because if they get all of their like if they're actually saving all of that stuff, they can get themselves out from the mountain of debt and get their
Go
own
buy a
house
house.
and
Yeah.
get like and be in a better position because when you're renting you are paying just such inflated prices that like it's insane. Like a two-bedroom apartment shouldn't be $1,300.
No.
There's just no reason for it. So it's like on the one hand, I'm like, good for them, but like also it sucks for like those of us who are paying our rent, where it kind of just feels like there's no benefit, I guess.
Yeah.
Cause like, yes, when they're able to be evicted, they can be evicted and they can go through the legal thing. But is it worth the hassle? And I feel like a lot of landlords aren't going to go through the eviction process if the people just like willingly leave. Because I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. Like the eviction moratorium ends, and then people like disperse and they just like leave that property and they go out and they like buy a place of their own because they don't have any evictions on their record. And the courts are going to be so backlogged with evictions that like you really can kind of get away with it. I would assume. I don't
Yeah.
know like the legal ramifications, but it kind of seems like it's more trouble than it's worth to actually evict somebody, which I do know, because the actual like eviction process can take 6 months, a year longer. And you have no legal recourse. Like you start the eviction process and then like they're just there until they get out. And like just to lose all that money because these landlords are still paying on those properties in a lot of cases. So but yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of houses now that are like occupied, can only view from the street, do not approach the tenants. And I'm like, no, the houses are already too expensive. And now I have to deal with like all of them being occupied now. And so I'm like,
That sucks.
so I'm kind of like worried that I'm going to have to go another year.
Just move down here.
I really am considering it. I really do love my job.
Yeah.
And like that's the other part of it. Like my anxiety has been so sky high recently that like picking up and moving to a whole nother state and just like starting completely over from scratch is terrifying. Like I can't even begin to think about finding a job. Like I like casually browse just like every so often because I'm like, I need a backup plan, but I know I'll end up back in retail and then I'll hate it and I'll hate myself for it. It's just like I like being a businesswoman who like wears
Yeah.
business casual clothing and like doesn't get yelled at by customers.
Right.
Like I just
I
can't.
thought about there's a drug company here and they're needing people like second shift from like 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. And you literally just go pick drugs and put them in a thing. And I'm like, I could do that. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, 4 to 1, I have to get up at 5 something to take my kids to school,
Yeah,
get
that's
them
true.
ready, and then take them to school. Like, I can't do that.
No.
It would be so easy. Like, I've had so many jobs that are just so mind consuming. Like you have to
Yeah.
think so much and use your intellect and figure things out. And because I've wrote code, I've done such a vast array of things. And I'm like, I just want something I don't even have to think. Like
That's
I don't
why
want to have to stress over it. I just want to put stuff in to a spreadsheet and that be it, and that's all that I do. And I don't have to deal with customers. I don't have to do any of that shit. And I was thinking all I have to do is just look and see, where do I go, what do I get, done it, done, that's it. I don't have to deal with anybody. So I was thinking I could do that. And then I'm like, the hours are shitty though.
yeah, see that's why I'm kind of like I like my job so much because it's challenging but not mind numbing. Like I don't
Yeah.
dread going into work and like most of the issues that I've had to deal with are either simple to deal with or there's somebody else I can call and now it's their problem and they have to figure out
Yeah.
how to deal with this. Like that's what I like. And I just like cannot go back to something that's just like soul sucking where like nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those hours. Like I don't understand why factories like I kind of get it, like why factories don't do shorter shifts, but like why not get some part-time people in there? Like
Yeah.
you're always like short. Like there's never enough people and I'm sure there are busier times. Like just do a 4-hour shift. Like who cares?
Yeah. I'm even at the point where I'm thinking about going to one of those employment places. I've never been to one of those my entire life and be like, look, I have every skill you could possibly have, but this is what I want. Just find it for me. You're like,
Yeah.
I'll give you some money. You find it for me and give me the
Almost
perfect
like
job.
you want a headhunter.
Yeah.
You don't want a recruitment, you want a headhunter, but they're gonna put you up in Chicago with me. Um they're gonna see your resume and be like, why is she in Arkansas?
Right. That's
And
that's my
why
issue.
why is she in a small town in Arkansas? Like not even Little Rock.
Like I have such a crazy resume. Like my resume's really, really good. But there's nothing here for me. Like the few things I've applied for, I'm like, I'm so overqualified for this. And my salary requirements, like this is poor Arkansas, tiny
Yeah.
town. Like there ain't no job that pays what I would want. So it's like, what?
Well, and you
Just
face
gotta
the
have to
issue
sell
too
something.
of being overqualified. Because
I'm
like
way
there's certain
overqualified.
people when I would look at the applications for Toys R Us, I'd be like, why is this person applying at Toys R Us? And like it kind of sucked because I'm like, you don't want to interview them because you're like, they're just going to turn me down. It's a waste of my time. But also
Yeah.
like they applied. So like obviously they want to work
Yeah.
here. But yeah, I could see that being an issue for you, like just being
It is.
overqualified and
I
stuff.
know that like some of the management positions I've applied to, I'm like, I'm just overqualified. Like
Yeah.
to be honest, and it makes me sound so egotistical and stuff, but I'm really not. Like it's legit.
Well, when
I've
I
done so many things that it's It sucks.
When I lost the job that we had together, when that stopped, and I had to find a new job, I just needed something like super quick, and like I didn't want to go to retail, but I was like, I can work in a kennel. I've worked in a kennel before. I managed a kennel before. Like they just need people to like wash out dog cages. I can wash out a dog cage. So I applied at the kennel, and like I went into the interview and he's like, I want you to be the manager of the kennel. And I'm like, is that a position that's open? He goes, no, it's my position. I want to like hire you for that, but like they're transitioning me. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, see, like that was, you're like, I just need any job. And then I like went in and I was like, oh, it'll be nice. I can get a nice, relaxing job. You're going to be a manager.
That's what's
Okay.
always happened to me in jobs so many times. Like I'll just go in, I'm just wanting a basic job, and within like no time I end up in management or some sort of promotion. Like a
Well, so one of my friends, like they kept promoting him. And then at a certain point, they started promoting him against his will. Like he literally was like, I don't want this. Like he was at a store, he was at Toys R Us with me, and he worked in the store and he liked it. And then they were like, we're going to make you an assistant manager. He's like, no, I'm good. And he's like, they're like, here's when your interview is. And he's like, I really don't want to. And they're like, be here. So he like went. And then they did the same thing to him. When they made him a store manager too. And they would like switch him to other stores without like asking him at all either. Like they were just like, oh, you're going to this store in like 3 days. And you're like, what do you mean I'm going to this store in 3 days? Like, don't I have to like approve it? No. You're just like, okay. Cause like, what else are you going to do? Like,
yeah.
because at that point, like retail just like they beat you down until you think that you don't deserve like to be treated like a human being. So you just like have this like weird sense of self-worth where like you're garbage and always will be.
You know what I'd really like to do?
Hmm.
Other than spreadsheets, I would
Yeah.
love to be a voice actress.
Yeah.
Like for cartoons or things like that. Like I would love to do that.
You know what I was kind of bummed about, and I didn't look too much into this, but I don't think that they're using the for Paw Patrol. So the Paw Patrol movie came out and they had like a bunch of big name actors as like the characters. And I was like, I don't think those are the same ones that do the voice work for the show.
Yeah,
And
no.
like that really bothered me. I was like, why would you not put the actors with the voices that like we know? Like, why do you have to have a big name actor in there when like you don't even see them?
Yeah.
It made
That's what
no
I
sense
want
to
to do.
me.
I would love to do that.
I mean, I can't imagine it's that hard. Like once you find it.
Like I want to find something that I just enjoy, that's not stressful, that I can like doing. Like I've
Yeah.
had the stressful jobs. I've had the prestigious type positions. Like I don't
Yeah.
want that shit. I just want something I like doing.
That's why I'm like, I don't want a promotion. Like, oh, well, you could do this. You could,
No.
I make
Nope, I'm
enough
good.
money. My like the only thing that I would change is I wish I didn't have such a long commute. But like there's really not much to be done about that unless I want to move closer.
Yeah. And even on the money aspect, like I just want to make enough to
Just to
be
live,
happy
just to
with it.
survive.
Like
Yeah.
I don't need to
I
make
don't
what
need
I'm
solids.
qualified to make. Like I
Like I
just
don't need solid gold toilet seats. Like, cause well, that's what I'm doing when I'm looking for the house. Like I'm looking for one house that I can live in until I die. Um, and like I was looking at it and like the 30-year mortgage, I'm like, okay, that's perfect. I'll have a couple of years of like no mortgage to like just really beef up my savings before I retire. I'll never retire. But like
our generation will never get to retire. Like we're just gonna
retire.
work till we die.
I was gonna say my retirement plan is to die on the job like every other millennials.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm like looking
Hopefully
at it.
because of the job. So my
Well,
beneficiary gets a
yeah,
nice
I was gonna
check.
say your benefit. I don't have a beneficiary. Like it's
You
my
can use
mom, but like
me.
I will. Well, when my mom passes, I'll put you in there. So I don't have
I'll be like,
dependents. I'm
who
not
is
planning
this
to have
random
dependents.
person you've got as your beneficiary? Doesn't matter.
You're
That's
like
what I
paying her
want.
that money. I was actually just looking at that for my plan because like I was talking to one of my coworkers and like we're like, wait, what did we sign up for? Because at my job we're all like, okay, one of us looked at it and decided that these are the best options. So here's a list of things to sign up for. So like we're looking, it's like, okay, who gets how much and like and stuff. So I have like a $500,000 or no, $250,000, I think, that goes to like my beneficiary if I die or something. I was like, oh, that's cute. I was like, doesn't matter, but like that's nice. But yeah, I was like looking at the houses and I'm like, okay, if I get the house that I need now, like since I'm not planning to have kids, like I don't need to like plan for future children. But I still want like a couple extra bedrooms just so like I have them. So I'm like, then I can just call it a day. Like I don't need a starter home. Like,
Yeah.
nope, pick a home, pay it off, die in it.
Yeah.
If I can get it for cheap enough too, I was looking, the rates are low enough right now. I could even do a 15-year mortgage. And like that felt unheard of to me. I was
It's
like,
really so when we bought ours, they told us that um do the 30 years so that you're not obligated to pay more if you can't.
yeah,
But to pay extra every month. That if you
yeah.
just pay like an extra $50 a month, it knocks like 10 years off of your
And I've
payments.
seen that, and I'm doing that for my car payment. Um, but it was one of those things where like I'm looking and like at a certain price point, the 15-year mortgage is what I'm paying in rent right now. So like I
Yeah.
know I can do it. So then it just becomes a matter of like, where do I want my payment to be? But I'm like, that would be so nice, like to have a house paid off before I'm 50, like
Yeah.
to not have that burden to like be able to just get like a shitty part-time job where I only need to make enough to like support my basic needs. Like, what a life.
Yeah.
And like I keep like debating and I like it's so terrible because like I can't cohabitate with people and I don't like people, but I just hate paying all of my bills myself.
Yeah.
And like I just keep sitting there and I'm like, should I try dating? I'm just so tired of paying all of my bills. But then I'm like, no, that's the shittiest reason in the world to start dating. But like, listen, can you pay half my bills but also not be here ever? Like,
You just need a sugar daddy or mama.
I know, but I can't do it. I've done it, but like, your time is not yours, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like debating, like I'm always debating the OnlyFans, but I'm super upset about OnlyFans, and like, they're not clear about what is explicit because they said that nudity is fine, but like, where's the line? Like, if I stick a dildo up there, like, is that the line? Does that make it explicit? Or like, sorry to all of the boys who keep, all of the men who keep offering to be my OnlyFans like partner. Like, I don't know why everybody's going. Yeah, I was thinking about doing an OnlyFans. Oh, if you need somebody to be in it with you, yeah, bring your average dick right over here. We're gonna make some
Right. Like, yes,
quality
I'm sure all the
content.
people who are going to pay to see me want to see you. Like,
Yeah, come on, man. But like, yeah, so I'm curious to see how that pans out because OnlyFans too, like they weren't even a company before
right.
sex workers. And now
Like
they're
they
like,
were, but nobody knew that they existed before then. Like,
no, like I had never heard of it. And like I thought because they were like, oh well, it's for people to show off their crafts and do all of these things. I'm like, that's what Etsy and Patreon is for.
yeah.
Like why can't it just be like why are we so uptight about sex and nudity and like all that stuff? Like, why can't we just be cool? Like, who cares?
Right.
Yeah, I wanna see how it goes. But yeah, they said it's either September 1st or October 1st. They're like banning explicit content, and I'm like, oh, there go my big dreams of making money because that was always in my back pocket. I was like, well, if all else fails, I can always do OnlyFans.
Not now.
I mean, I
Gotta
can
do
like, but
meet
that's why
me.
I prefer to just do like the regular nudes, but I also like understand where like the videos are where it's at. So it's like can it just be solo? Like if it's just solo stuff with like just like you and your props, like is that still cool? Because
Yeah.
like I could make money off that.
Yeah. I'd like to be the cake sitter.
Honestly, like cake
Just sit
sitting,
on
balloon
cakes. Like
sitting,
I'd fucking sit on a cake.
I love weird kinks. I fucking just I love hearing
Or
people's weird
Jello.
kinks.
I'd sit
Yeah.
on Jello. That would be fun
I'll
to
sit,
sit on. It'd be
I'll
squishy.
sit on anything you want.
Yeah, like anything.
Like for the right price, anything.
Yeah, anyone can
Yeah.
be but.
Yeah, that's true. I've had that. Like I did have like something. It ended up being a scam and he didn't actually pay me, but like it was one of those things where he's like, "Will you do this?" And I'm like, and he's like, "For this much?" I'm like,
Okay.
yes, I
Like that
will.
meme that's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
change your
Exactly. I'm
mind.
thinking, I'm like, you know what? I didn't think that I had a price. Turns out I do.
I do. And that's it,
Yeah.
apparently.
But yeah, like, but I love like when I'm on I used to be on like FetLife all the time and like I just loved hearing people. I love hearing people's weird kinks. Like I just like learning about like the different things that are out there and like the different like stuff like I didn't know about like the breastfeeding kink and like all the different components of it and somebody like explained it to me. The feeders and eaters still weirds me out, but like it's interesting. But like but I had somebody offer, they're like, can I feed you? I was like, dude, no, I don't want to be fatter than I already am. Fuck you. Like, no. It's like, oh, but you're so hot. And I'm like, yeah. And ideally, I want to lose weight. And obviously, it's not working, but I'd like to be optimistic that it will one day. If you keep feeding me cake and chicken fries, it's not going to happen.
Maybe I want some chicken fries.
I know. Yeah, it sounds real good. But yeah, like I like all of those like niche ones that you like never hear of. And it's because I'm a safe space. Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, ew, you're into that. Like, no, like it's not for me. But like, I would like to understand it because I just think that stuff's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, how did you get into getting an erection when somebody sits on a balloon? Like,
Right. I would like to know about that too. Like,
like,
why does that do it for you?
yeah, like,
And
what
why a
about
balloon?
me sitting on this cake? What about me sitting on this cake like really gets your motor running? Like if anybody can tell us how they got into cake sitting too,
Yeah.
please let us know. We are one, willing to sit on cakes, and two, very curious.
I'm gonna make a Reddit post about that. Like
Please do.
weird
Let me know
kink
how it
people.
goes.
I would love to know why your kink is your kink.
Yeah. Like
What is it
tell me the
about it
origin
that
story.
yeah.
Like that light
When
bulb
was the
moment.
first time when you're like, oh, this does it? This is it. This is it.
I've had weird ones when like just scrolling for porn because I watch it on Tumblr, which also banned porn, but like it's still there. Where like I've gotten weird ones. Like I got off to like a dude's micro penis one time, and that's one of the weirder ones. Like there was just this video. It was just like a clip that kept looping, but it was just this dude's micro penis. It was like just a full shot of it. But like it was just him, just this. And it was just on a loop. And I just watched him.
It's probably this one guy that so used to snap me, and I didn't want him to snap me, but he did. I think I eventually blocked him so he would stop. But he, like, his dad owns like a local exotic car dealership, but he was like, I can get you any car that you want, but I have a micro penis. I'm like, oh.
Okay, so like as I've gotten older,
But he was like,
I
you know,
actually
you've
don't
dated
care.
girls. Well, he was like, you've dated girls, so obviously a
Yeah,
large penis
it's
is
the
not
same thing.
important to you. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's not important to me. But he was like one of those creepy, weird
Yeah,
people.
that's
So I
the
was
thing
like,
is like,
it's the whole package that I'm
yeah.
not into
I'm
here.
like, it's not your
Even if it's
micro
a tiny
penis
package, I'm not.
specifically.
There's something that I'm not into.
Yeah. Well, and part of it too is like, you
Wasn't
know,
the micro penis? It was
yeah,
everything else that he was that was
yeah.
creepy.
Because I've done that too. Because like stuff like that, it's like, listen, I don't need you to like be hung like a horse, but like, are you cool using toys? Like, if you have a micro penis,
Yeah, like we can work
are you
around
down
that.
to, yeah, like, but yeah, if you're like creepy, because, and I feel there's a lot of guys that like are on the shorter side. Like I dated a guy once that like, it was all he talked about, and he was average. And he just like had convinced himself that like he had a small penis. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you watch
Like you
porn, of course you
don't,
have a
it's
small penis.
fine.
But like that was like his whole personality was just like, I know I'm not very big. And it's like, it's fine. I'm not complaining. You're the one that's complaining. But
Yeah.
yeah, like one of the weirder ones that I got off to was
Quit watching
just a
horse
dude
dong
flicking his
porn.
micro
Like,
penis. And like I came, and then I kind of like had that, like, you know, that moment like where it like wears off and you're like looking at what you're watching and you're like,
what the fuck is wrong with me?
yeah. So the micro penis, there was like a 2 week span where I was like super into the old men, like with like 20-year-old girls. And I mean like your grandfather, not like the hot jacked old men. I literally mean your grandfather, just like railing a hot co-ed. I'm like, I know. I'm like, and like it was just one of those things where I'm like, why is this doing it for me? But like that's what I want right now. But yeah, it's like, oh, it's always interesting with like all the different kinks and like all the things
I
and
love
like
how
the
open you
role.
are.
Yeah.
So
Like
what
what's the
I
point?
went through my weird phase of porn that I liked at one point was like, I can't say it. I just
Is it pony play?
I can't say. No, no. It has no animals or nothing like that.
The animal ones weird me out. And then
Nothing
the
illegal, nothing
yeah,
incestuous,
yeah.
and no animals. So
So
so it was
vanilla.
boring.
Yeah, I was gonna say like pass.
No. No, it
That's
just
what.
involved lots of people.
Oh yeah, I like those. That's my normal. Like my baseline is like threesome plus.
Yeah.
Like you're like, what should I watch?
I've done a
Anything
lot
with
more
more
than
than two
three.
people. Well, I know, but like the baseline for like what I enjoy starts at three. Like it's fine if there's two people. I guess it's fine with one person.
That's too
But
romantic.
like
That's too romantic for porn. Like,
sex isn't about that. Like
not one on one. No.
no, no.
I'm
Yeah,
looking for that night where you go and do shit. You're like, what the fuck did I do last night? Like, that's
I
what.
like I like the ones where like there's a lot going on, like the Renaissance painting ones, where like there's people in the background also doing stuff. So you're like,
Yeah.
it's focused on this. But if you look behind her, you can also see something else happening. And like I like those. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, those are always super fun. There's a there's a nudist ranch like by me that I always want to go to. And I know it's not like a sex ranch. I hope it is, but I know it's not. It's just
I'm
like a
hoping
nude.
that it is, but I know that it won't be and I'll be let down. But I still want to go
Well, it's just like,
just in case.
yeah, like, and I just like I've never been there, so like I can't go because my anxiety is just like, what do you like? Because it's not fully nude everywhere, so it's really just like, what do you wear? How much do you wear? Where do you take stuff off? Like, but they have a pool and a hot tub, which like if you're at the pool or the hot tub, you have to be fully nude. But if you're anywhere else on the property, it's just like however nude you want to be. And like I really want to go because
I would
like
go on like a turtleneck and be completely.
I love being
I'm just
naked.
here
So
because
I'm just
she's
like,
dragging me here.
like I like being naked. But I like wearing some sort of underwear. So like I would probably wear like a thong or something. Like I love my boobs being out. Like I don't like wearing bras. But I want to go, and they like always have these like theme nights. And I'm like, it's like a club like with a theme night, but like, do you wear lingerie? Do you wear regular
If
clothes?
it's a
How
theme, but
naked are
it's
you?
nudist, like,
Because it's not like fully nude. It's just like nudity optional.
yeah.
So it's just like as nude as you want to be. But yeah, like I'm always like, I could go, I could meet other like people that are also comfortable in it. When you're in those type of situations, sometimes like you click with somebody and then like then you get to go and have like, you know, some fun in the woods. Um, that's my goal. I just want to have sex in the woods, you guys. Um, which I've done, but only like camping, I think. But yeah, like it was just like it's something different that like I want to try, but I'm too nervous to do it by myself. And like
We should do an episode where we're just talking about this kind of stuff.
we've tried that.
Because I'm sure that my parents are not watching now. So
It's been on long enough, and all of our original followers have decided that we're not worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's super fun. I don't have any other news stories. And I mean, we've been on here long enough. The only like other news story I saw, which was like kind of alarming for this like lighthearted episode. North Carolina has raised their marriage age to 16, down or up from 14. North Carolina had which is surprising, had the lowest like age of consent for marriage, it just being like 14. If you're 14, you can marry whoever you want. Not even like has to be this much. Like they said one of the people that came in, it was like a 14-year-old with like a 47-year-old. And that's like,
oh my God.
nobody's gonna question that. We're just gonna hand them over a marriage license. That's cool. So they were like, North Carolina is the destination for child brides. And you're like, that is not a bragging point. Like,
no.
not something to brag about. So they just passed a law to up their marriage age to 16, which
I think it should be 25.
I think it should be 25 as well.
Across the board, 25.
Yeah. Like at the very least 21, just sitting there having a wedding, you can't even drink it. Come on.
Right.
But they also have a cap for age. So they said that like you have to be like within 5 years or something of yourself. And I was like, thank
That's
God.
Good.
Because like a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, even some 20-year-olds, they're getting preyed upon by these like older people that are like grooming them.
So like no matter how old you are, it has to be within those.
No, I think once you're like the like 18, but like for like the child bride section of it. But like a lot of the South, which I did not know, like still lets like young people marry. And I think they're the last one. But that was like an alarming
South is backwards, man.
It makes it, oh God, I hate it. And like I wish that like we had like more rules around marriage, and I feel like we would have less divorces, like but you can't like regulate it. Like it sucks to be like, you have to take a class, you have to do, you know, a couple mandatory counseling sessions, you should have to do these things, because like nothing prepares you for being married. Like you can have lived together for 20 years, but the second that you get married, something is different. And like it just, I don't know. I wish that there was like classes on like being married, like just like here's basic things that you will need to know how to do and like your life together, and here's counseling, and here's all of these things, instead of just like I can go to Atlantic City or Las Vegas and just like get married to a stranger today. Or in Illinois, all I have to do is wait 3 days. Like, just seems crazy.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we didn't like gay people marry until a few years ago because of the sanctity of marriage. So yeah, good job on North Carolina getting with the times. Like, stopping.
Which is still behind the times. It shouldn't even be 16, but
well, I think
at least it's not 14.
Yeah, a lot of states in the South are still 16.
Yeah,
that's how that Courtney. We were talking about her a little bit. Courtney Stodden, who they were a 16-year-old who married like a 55-year-old or something. And it sucked because they were the one that got all the backlash. That man, like, he got zero of the backlash for like marrying this child. But like her parents signed off on it. Yeah. Or their parents. She goes by they.
There's no way in hell I would sign off on it.
No, and that's what's so crazy. It's like literally this dude was like, hey, I started talking to your daughter. I totally thought that she was over 18. Bro, still creepy. Like, you're in your 50s. But okay, she's just so mature and I really want to marry her. It's been 3 months together. sir, get off my property, like get away from my child. Like,
Right?
but yeah, their parents signed off on it and they were like, oh yes, go be in love and everything. And like Courtney ended up getting death threats from like a lot of celebrities, including Chrissy Teigen, like literally saying kill yourself. And this dude got zero backlash. And like that's what these child brides face.
Why are we not questioning the old man? Like, he's the adult in the situation.
And that's exactly it. It's because we love to victim blame. So all of it goes on that. And one of the things that Courtney said was that they were afraid to leave for the longest time because they didn't have, at like 20 years old, they didn't have a driver's license because he didn't want her to have a driver's license. So like, you know, they didn't have a driver's license. They didn't have a job. So it's like, if you marry a 14, a 15, a 16, a 17-year-old, they don't have those life skills. They don't learn to take care of themselves. And it's so predatory, and people don't realize that that is abuse, because it's financial abuse, because these people literally can't function without you. And that makes it impossible for them to leave because they can't function. And like, they don't always have a home to go back to with parents who will accept them back. So it's super predatory. And I hope that one day we just like outlaw child brides like forever. But it's nice that at least you have to be 16, I think, in, if not every state, almost every state.
Yeah.
But crazy, crazy things.
Well, thanks for watching. No, it's been very chaotic as far as when we're gonna post a video and what it's gonna be. Hopefully we'll get a little bit back on track because my kids are in school and I'm getting a schedule set, like of when I'm helping with my grandmother and days that I'm not. So hopefully we'll start being more regular.
Yeah. My schedule
Like our
always
bowels
is
should be.
chaotic.
What?
Everybody eat your vegetables.
Eat your greens. All right. Well, thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.